Hi, everyone. Welcome. Thanks for joining in. So, why did Bruno Groening come? It's a really interesting question, and I think there are many answers to it. And he gives us a couple clues. Here's a few things he had to say about why he came. I will be brief and keep saying that human art has come to an end. It has reached its high point. For thousands of years, science has made a great effort to investigate the things between heaven and earth, but not the natural way. People were as happy as children when they created something, but today they have got to the point where they can destroy everything as well, because Satan's attitude is to try to destroy. And man lets himself be lured and tries to do it as well. I'll just mention one little word, the atom, and that is the human artifact and satanic power, and I fight against it. I live so that humankind can continue to live. Man is working to destroy the world, to tear it apart, but I know how to master this tear. The earth threatens to burst. I will lay a ring around it so that it cannot burst. I am stronger than evil. I am not groaning. People have given this name to my body, but who I really am, people will only recognize when I am no longer here in my body. And that's from Wisdom of Life, Volume 1, page 68. So, part of why Bruno Groening came was to prevent the destruction of the earth. In a sense, to literally save the world. And there's another reason he came. These are kind of his big missions. And it's to call humanity to what he called the great turnaround. And he said, if humanity doesn't come to the great turnaround, to change the path they're on, then there will be something which he called the great correction. So Bruno Groening, what I'm about to read is from Powers of the Spirit, page 143. Now, Bruno Groening was very adamant that mediumship, that receiving channeled messages, was mostly not a good idea, that it was unreliable, and oftentimes it was evil spirits who were seeking to mislead people who were giving these messages. In this case, however, in his presence, he allowed, or he said that he protected a transmission, a message to come through to one of his close friends, Mr. Loy. And this is the message that came through. And Bruno Groening said that it was pure and correct and protected. And it was actually a message from God. And it's a message, it's actually a message for all of us, for all of humanity. Human beings, discover yourself in the divine space. Discover yourself in the divine will. Seek to discover the divine. Human being, be mindful that the hour of decision over your being has come. Take note no longer of the sign of the times, but of the signs of the hour. We do not have that much time left. Discover that you understand my call. Bend your stubborn will and acknowledge the deed that, out of pride and lack of reason, you have committed. Take my will as your own. In your overconfidence, you have squandered your free will. Hear my call. The days are numbered that still remain for your conversion. A short time is still given, so that all may be shown what is right. The destiny that the earth has always given itself is being subjected to a great correction. Much will be no longer. The new that arises, mankind will quickly understand. And the time of divine intervention begins if and when human beings do not find their way to thoughts of divine order. Why do human beings take earthly things to be the means to make the thoughts of creation their own, contrary to what is right? You should be the guardians of the creation. The creation should be your servant. What have you done? You have become the destroyers of my creation. You wish to annihilate my work, which makes your life on earth possible and should preserve you. Your atomic research is an assault on the fundamental law of my creation. I allow it to happen, but the act of the evil one will not come to pass if you, O human being, realize what you are doing. God's will is not annihilation. Preservation and survival, that is divine. Annihilation is the same as disorder. Order is life, and life is God. My children should speak to me, but they should also recognize my activity, even if they often believe that it should be otherwise. Understanding and willing the good, that is what you should always carry in your heart. It is necessary to love and believe in God and in His Son, who is on earth and upon whom you can gaze in your hearts. Open up all of your hearts and let me in. Have faith and feel and find in the essential nature of my life, my primeval and fundamental being, as Creator and Lord of all worlds. May what I say to you now remain with you. No one who does not yet understand should be disturbed by it. They must first of all learn to look. All must hear and obey me of their own free will. You should follow me because you recognize me. Control your bodies in all earthly concerns. Maintain discipline and measure in all of your thinking. Listen inside yourself. You will then hear and feel me quite clearly. And what can then cause you still to err? The days that I am sending you, they are of great importance for you and your continued survival. Just as once you were my servants and fellow strivers, today too you must recognize and carry out your duty. I have spoken the word to you so that you can comprehend what for many is incomprehensible. And while you are gathered around me today, my dear friends, give me your earthly worries and needs so that you may become free and be able to do and act in accordance with the divine will. So that which is stand. So may that which is stand. So may that which is rotten fall. May life be lived in God. Amen. So here's what Bruno had to say about this. And again, this is, I think I gave the page number, but again, this is from the book Powers of the Spirit, page 143. That was where the letter was. And now on page 147 is where Bruno speaks a little bit about this. Human beings have received from God as a gift their inviolable free will to stand by either good or evil. Even if they make life hell through their lack of understanding, greed, and vengefulness towards one another, and even threaten or annihilate the bodies of other people, this still remains at the level of guilt and retribution in the destiny they make for themselves. That is, everyone must, for as long as they do not walk the path of nonviolence, and experience and carry to term in their own bodies everything that they have caused or done to other people by way of evil. This laborious, lengthy, and heavy rhythm of birth and death has been in operation since human beings first abandoned the divine path. But so long as in this vale of tears, as it appears from the earthly and material perspective, there nevertheless remains, when viewed from the spiritual perspective, one little spark of hope that people will turn around. And so long as life on earth as a whole is not in danger, then God's forbearance continues. It is only in the case when any development towards the good is out of the question that the aforementioned great correction becomes unavoidable. Whether, when, and how such an event occurs, only God knows. Therefore, I emphasize once again, the more human beings serve the good, the more unlikely it is that such a decisive event will occur. Never forget, God is love itself. and only wants the very best for his human children. But he will not allow his creation to be destroyed by evil. So I'll let those words speak for themselves. The only thing I'll add is that Bruno Groening was very adamant that the atomic research was very hazardous on many, many levels and very detrimental to life. And so you saw that in the first reading and the second reading. And the last thing I'll say is I'll just reread what we can do about this. It's very daunting and very intense information. And what can we do? And in that letter, there's a lot of practical information about how to live. And here's what Bruno says we can do. The more human beings serve the good, the more it is unlikely that such a decisive event will occur. Thanks so much for watching. I invite people to be gentle with themselves. This is very intense information and very important information. It can lead us to fear, which of course is what evil wants and how evil operates, through fear. Or it can inspire us to reach for the good and to strive for the good. As it said in the letter that was dictated, understanding and willing the good, this is what you should always carry in your hearts. Thanks so much.